Hi guys, today I'll be showing you the best apps you can get for your Android smartphone. Let's get started. The reason I'm doing this video is that although I love this Samsung Galaxy S4, the apps that come with it, stock, aren't the best. So I decided to let you know which ones are. So I'm going to divide this video up into 4 parts, which are the categories of apps. First one is going to be productivity, then communications, then media, and lastly customization. So as you can see, I'm reading this off the Notes app of my choice. So let's start with Notes. As you probably just saw, the app I chose for Notes was Evernote. I chose this app because of the many options it gives, from shortcuts to notebooks, to even notebook stacks and bold underlined text. It's just a very versatile and very fluid, actually, note app. Also, an added plus is that if you have the Evernote app on your computer, it syncs. If you don't want something so complex, I would go with ColorNote. Next in the productivity apps is a calendar app, and for this I chose a calendar. Google Calendar isn't that bad and all, neither is the stock one found on my Samsung Galaxy S4, but when I found a calendar, I never looked back. What I really like about this calendar app is that it uses gestures a lot, and it makes the basic functions on your calendar a lot easier, from swiping between weeks, or even changing the view by swiping left or right. I can go from monthly to weekly or daily view. Also, a nice trick is that if you go with 2 fingers, you can actually go, if you're in daily view, you go to the same day of the next week. If you're in weekly view, the same week of the next month. If you're in monthly view, you go to the same month of the next year. Next up in the productivity apps is a news app. And for this, I chose Flipboard. Let's see. I really like Flipboard. One of the reasons why is that when you're scrolling, it's not like a normal website or other like text field that you scroll in. It doesn't just keep going until it stops. It actually goes to the next story or previous story depending on which way you flick your finger, which makes scrolling a lot easier, and you don't have to worry about how hard you scroll or how soft you scroll. The other reason is how it aggregates all your news into one place. For example, I customized it, and since I like technology, I added a technology Flipboard, and I can just go through all of these news stories from different websites that all come into one, which is really nice. Next up in productivity apps is a time or clock app, and for this I chose Timely. If we take a look at Timely, it opens up nice and fast, and you're greeted with this beautiful clock scheme, which just shows you a minimalist text with the time and the date. And you can swipe between different screens. The left side is your alarm clocks, and you can easily just add one like this. And let's say done, and it's set. And the animations on this are just amazing. If we go to the stopwatch, for example, on the right side, just look at how the numbers change. Wow, that looks really nice. If you swipe up and down, you can switch between timer and stopwatch. So this is one of the best designed and looking Android apps I have ever seen. Lastly, in the productivity apps is the calculator app. And for this, I chose RealCalc. Although RealCalc might not be the best looking calculator app out there, there's a couple things that really differentiate it from the competition. The first is that you can have a scientific calculator with all the special functions in portrait view. You don't need to go to landscape view like most other calculators. Also, the memory of your calculators is much easier to handle in this. If you simply hold the equals button, you can see your result history, and it shows you the last 10, unlike most calculators, which usually just show you the last one, and it's extremely hard to get working. Now let's move on to apps that deal with communications. And the first category in communications is a dialer app. And for this, I chose XDialer. Unfortunately, I'm not going to actually show you the app on my phone because it contains all my contact info, but I can tell you, it looks a lot like the stock dialer app, and it's really fast and fluid. You're greeted with your call logs when you enter the app, and a keypad so you can easily just enter a number and call it. And it's just extremely, extremely fluid. And another added plus is that you get a ton of customization with this app. You can even change the size of the dialer or even the font. Now for a messaging app. On the Samsung Galaxy S4, the messaging app is extremely slow, so I sought out to find a better one, and I did. It's called Android JB 4.1 Messaging, and it's basically like the Jelly Bean messaging app, and it's extremely fast, it's fluid, it sends text fast, it opens the app fast, it opens messages fast, so yeah, it's really good. Last up in the communications category is the browser. Now, Chrome is actually not a bad browser, it's actually very good, I think. But I came upon a better one, which is Boat Browser. So as you can see here, this is what you're greeted with when you open Boat Browser. You have all your bookmarks here, and you can easily just search something by tapping the top search bar. It's a lot like other browsers, but there's a couple things that make it, in my opinion, better. One is the addition of gestures. So if we go to a site, say The Verge, and then let's say I want to close this tab. Now normally I would have to press the tab button in Chrome and then get rid of it, or press the menu button and press close tab, but here I can just make a gesture. If I go like this, the tab is closed. And the second thing is its speed. It is an extremely snappy browser. If I let's go to a different site, let's say CNN.com. Just look at how fast it is. It's already done. And it's also really fluid, zooming in and out worked great. My only minor complaint with this browser is the lack of animations, but that just adds to the speed. Now for the media category. And the first topic in this category is the camera and gallery apps. And although the app that I chose cannot be found in the Play Store, it can be found online, so I added a link in the description. Let's have a look. So if we open this camera app, you see it opens pretty fast. You're greeted with this viewfinder with not many buttons involved. All you have is a button to change the mode you're in. You have a shutter button, of course, and this button for changing some settings. And what I really like about this is if you simply swipe to the left, you get all your pictures. I don't have any pictures right now, but if you do, all your pictures will show up in a film strip view here. You can just swipe up or down to delete them, which is really nice. For a music player, although I personally use the stock Samsung Music app, the Google offering, Google Music, and also Rocket Player are also very good choices. So now let's move on to the last category of apps, which is customization. And the first topic in this category is a launcher. And the launcher I chose as my favorite is Nova Launcher, with Go Launcher being a close second. Let's have a look. Now, the reason Nova Launcher is my favorite launcher is because of two things. First is the amount that this app is extremely refined. The scrolling between home screens is extremely smooth. And even if you look at the little things, for example, when you're in the Nova settings, if you look closely, you'll see a pattern on the background. And the second thing is that you get a ton of customizations, from changing the desktop grid, changing the scroll effect. You can even change things such as the animation when you go back home. It gives you the ability to change literally anything you want about your home screen. You can even do things such as overlapping widgets. Also, you get something called dock swipe actions. So for example, when you swipe an icon up, it actually doesn't have to be in the dock. Let's say I swipe the phone icon up. I preset it to open the contacts when I do this. If I swipe, say, the camera icon up, you guessed it, it opens the gallery. And that just makes doing things on your phone a whole lot easier. Lastly, in our customizations section, we have an app for widgets. And actually, I chose two for this one. One is for if you want just a widget that works and looks really nice. I would recommend Fancy Widgets. The other is if you want extreme customization from your widget to make it look like literally whatever you want it to. I would recommend UCCW. And if you look right here, this is actually a widget I made on UCCW. And you can do a ton of things. For example, if I tap something called hotspots, if I tap somewhere on the widget, I get a certain app. For example, if I tap the clock icon, I get my clock app. So yeah, guys, that's all I have to say. I hope that you found at least one of these apps was interesting enough for you to go check it out. And to make it even easier for you to do that, I added a link in the description for each app that I mentioned today. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.